Sumit, the next question is to you to help us demystify a lot of things in legal and ethical consideration. So the question itself, yeah, what are the legal and ethical considerations that should be taken into account when designing a PIP to ensure fairness and compliance?
That's an interesting question. And the good or the bad news is that there are practically no legal considerations in the Indian context as such. In fact, there have been instances where employees have challenged performance ratings in court and said, I was given a bad rating, my rating should have been better, and so on and so forth. And the court has actually ruled saying, without having observed your performance, we're not qualified to comment on whether it's fair or unfair. So only a person who's observed your rating or your performance can calibrate it. Therefore, from a legal standpoint, at least in India, there isn't much precedent in challenging a PIP on performance reasons. Of course, there are other ways of talking about discrimination, harassment, various other things which you might be opening up to in case a PIP has been issued on those grounds. Like there are examples of somebody filing a complaint of being harassed, and the next thing is the person was put on a PIP. So that's a very clear case of retaliation, and so most companies have a non-retaliation clause as well. So you're not only violating a company policy by implementing a PIP in such cases, you're also going against the law. But directly, there's no law or there's no legal framework for a PIP as such. It's only against non-discrimination. The
second part, yeah, was the ethical considerations as well. Maybe you would want to elaborate a little more on
that. That's a much longer section because it's all about what kind of value system you have as an employer and as a manager. So why exactly are you putting the person on a PIP? Like Darshana said, is it just a lazy, easy way of getting the person to leave on their own? That the writing is on the wall, you're on a PIP, there's no coming back from this. It's in your interest to leave before we have to push you out of the door. So that the first and foremost index, I would say, is, are you prepared to give the employee a way back? So put the person on a PIP only if you believe genuinely that the situation is recoverable and the employee has a potential future in the organization if they're able to fix the behavioral or the performance issue. And again, there are various kinds of damage you can cause if you appear unethical. So while there's no legal damage that you're potentially incurring, you will end up damaging the employer brand of your organization. You will lose faith among your other direct reports. So the HR team, the line manager, any party that's involved in a PIP that's seen as just throwing somebody out will suffer. So that's the plain and simple legal view. And I'll also tell you a simple test for whether a PIP is ethical or not. The acronym PIP, it has three components, right? Performance, improvement, and plan. Have you paid enough attention to all three components? So is there an actual performance gap? Is there any kind of improvement that you're willing to accept? And has that been clarified? So is it clear? Are you asking me to climb Mount Everest when I probably haven't even climbed a sand dune in my entire life? That's not going to happen. So that's completely unrealistic. You can say it's improvement. You've not shown improvement. Get out. It's not ethical. And lastly, do you have a plan? So is it, I mean, it's like in the context of gardening, simply shouting at a plant, hey, grow faster, you're not growing, is not going to turn the plant into a tree. So you fix the environment, you give the plant the right kind of climate to grow. That, in my mind, is ethical.
Absolutely, Sumit. Very, very beautifully put. And I think, like you said, there are a lot of, and Darshana also mentioned this in the beginning, right? There are a lot of organizations that use PIP as a way to show someone out the door or tell them that, listen, hey, you exit before we send you out. That's really not the ethical way to do it. And if that is the kind of value system, then I doubt whether people should be working in such companies at all.